We would like to say a few words to the person who was with Madeleine. Madeleine is a beautiful, bright, funny and caring little girl. She is so special. We need our Madeleine, and Madeleine needs us. Please give our little girl back.
In a jaw-dropping twist that has sent tidal waves through one of the world's most infamous missing persons cases, investigators have unearthed buried evidence that could thoroughly reshape the 18-year search for Madeleine McCann. The astonishing discovery of a cache of firearms concealed beneath Portuguese soil has reignited hope and speculation about the fate of the 3-year-old British toddler who vanished from Praia da Luz in 2007. With prime suspect Christian Brueckner due for release this September, time is of the essence as forensic teams race to analyze these critical finds, potentially holding the keys to a long-coveted truth. The underground discovery that changed everything. The breakthrough came during what appeared to be another routine search operation. Portuguese and German investigators, working across 120 acres of scrubland near Lagos, were methodically combing through abandoned farmhouses and derelict structures when their equipment detected anomalies beneath the surface. Using ground-penetrating radar capable of scanning up to 33 feet underground, teams made the startling discovery that would dominate headlines worldwide. 2 firearms, described by Portuguese investigators as very old and very rusty, were found buried in the earth. A Portuguese investigator, speaking on condition of anonymity, characterized the weapons as almost archaeological artifacts, suggesting they had been underground for considerable time. The discovery marked the first time physical evidence of this nature had been uncovered in connection with searches related to the Madeleine McCann case. The buried guns were not the only items extracted from beneath the Portuguese soil. Alongside the firearms, investigators uncovered bone fragments initially believed to be animal remains and fragments of clothing that required closer forensic examination. The methodical nature of the burial suggested deliberate concealment rather than accidental disposal. Portuguese sources initially reported that one of the firearms had already been ruled out as having any connection to the Madeleine McCann inquiry, with a separate investigation launched to determine how it ended up in its buried location. However, the discovery process itself demonstrated the thoroughness of the current investigation, with teams using chainsaws, diggers, and shovels to battle rock-hard ground and overgrown vegetation in their quest for evidence. The intensive search operation unfolds. The operation that led to these underground discoveries represented one of the most comprehensive searches conducted in the Madeleine McCann case in recent years. Approximately 30 German police officers, including forensic experts, joined Portuguese investigators in a 3-day intensive operation that concluded as planned, according to Braunschweig head prosecutor Hans Christian Wolters, who described the collaboration as very constructive.
German and Portuguese police are looking for clues in the Algarve, a vast region of southern Portugal, known for its coastline and sandy beaches, but also for its very dense shrubbery and woodlands. It's where McCann disappeared back in 2007.
The search focused on a stretch of scrubland just a mile from where Madeleine was last seen, an area once populated by a farming community but long abandoned due to its arid conditions. Officers from Portugal's most senior force, the Policia Judiciária, worked in relentless heat, shifting rocks and rubble while battling against challenging terrain conditions. Fire crews assisted by pumping out disused wells at derelict farm buildings, some of which were covered in graffiti and had been abandoned for decades. The teams wore protective gear, including hard hats and masks, as they methodically cleared vegetation around abandoned structures. The sounds of chainsaws and strimmers echoed across the landscape as investigators continued their painstaking work. Ground-penetrating radar technology played a crucial role in the operation, allowing teams to identify subsurface anomalies before beginning excavation work. This high-tech approach represented a significant advancement from earlier searches, providing investigators with the capability to detect buried objects without extensive digging operations. The search area was cordoned off with tape, and journalists were prevented from getting close to the active investigation zones. This level of security and the deployment of specialized equipment suggested investigators had specific intelligence about what they might find, though German and Portuguese authorities remained tight-lipped about the intelligence that prompted the operation. When asked what they expected to find, one local policeman rolled his eyes and shrugged before saying, "You tell me. highlighting the uncertainty that surrounded even the investigating officers about potential discoveries. Despite the apparent skepticism, the operation proceeded with meticulous attention to detail, suggesting higher authorities had compelling reasons to conduct such an extensive search. Forensic analysis and scientific examination.
I don't know what sparked it, but I've got a good idea that they're probably working on two theories. One is that the theory that the little girl went missing and that she was abducted and murdered close to the location, and that they're searching the areas around that location.
The items discovered underground have become the subject of intensive forensic examination, with Portuguese investigators clarifying that analysis is being conducted in Portugal rather than Germany as initially reported. A well-placed Portuguese insider confirmed that forensic analysis of fragments believed to be animal bones and pieces of adult clothing has been scheduled at a Portuguese police scientific laboratory in Lisbon, with results to be sent back to German prosecutors. German forensic officers were reportedly offered the opportunity to be present during the testing procedures, though it remained unclear whether they accepted this invitation. This collaborative approach reflects the internal nature of the investigation and the importance placed on maintaining chain of custody protocols for potential evidence. The bone fragments, while initially assessed as animal remains, required detailed examination to confirm their origin and age. Some smaller fragments needed closer analysis to definitively rule out human origin. The clothing debris, described as old adult clothing, would undergo fiber analysis and dating procedures to determine if it could be connected to the time frame of Madeleine's disappearance. Portuguese investigative sources expressed skepticism about the significance of the underground finds. One source stated that, quote, "The feeling on the Portuguese side, at least, is that what's been unearthed during last week's searches is unlikely to have anything to do with the suspect Christian Brueckner or the Madeleine McCann investigation." This assessment, however, came before comprehensive forensic analysis had been completed. The scientific examination process involves multiple stages of analysis. Initial visual inspection and categorization are followed by detailed forensic testing, including DNA analysis where possible, fiber examination for textiles, and materials analysis for metal objects like the buried firearms. Each item must be carefully documented and analyzed within the context of the broader investigation. The timeline for forensic results varies depending on the complexity of testing required. While some preliminary findings might be available within weeks, comprehensive analysis could take several months, particularly if DNA extraction and comparison are required. The Brueckner connection and criminal profile. Christian Brueckner, the 48-year-old German pedophile at the center of the investigation, has emerged as a figure whose criminal history and behavior patterns align disturbingly with the underground discoveries. Currently serving a 7-year prison sentence for raping a 72-year-old American woman in Praia da Luz in 2005, Brueckner is scheduled for release in September if no additional charges are filed. Brueckner's connection to the search area runs deep. He lived in a cottage approximately 1 mile from the Ocean Club where Madeleine vanished, and spent considerable time in the Praia da Luz area between 2000 and 2017. His lifestyle during this period was described as nomadic, living in a VW camper van and supporting himself through theft from hotels and holiday flats. The convicted sex offender has demonstrated a pattern of concealing evidence and criminal materials. According to documentary evidence, suspicious items found in a German warehouse purchased by Brueckner a year after Madeleine's disappearance included firearms, 75 girls' swimming costumes, and a car with chemicals hidden in the boot. This history of finding incriminating materials makes the underground burial of items particularly significant. From his prison cell, he's written mocking letters to investigators, demonstrating his confidence that no evidence exists to implicate him in Madeleine's disappearance. A former inmate has alleged that Brueckner once confided about his criminal activities, including reportedly claiming he had snatched a girl from a flat in Portugal. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think these buried secrets finally unlock the mystery of what happened to Madeleine McCann? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.